Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Bradley. I'm the director of the episode 2 Bounties dub.
I'm Colby. I'm the producer of the episode 2 Bounties dub.
And I am Lars, the creator and illustrator, writer of Bounties,
the everything man who does
everything
literally everything else.
The guy.
Yeah. I think without further ado, we're ready to get started, unless anyone has anything else to say.
No? Go ahead and pull it up.
Ow.
It's such a good opening. It's such a good setup.
Yeah, I have to say I love the way you animated the seagull.
Yeah, the seagull was very fun.
There's definitely... there was a lot of people asking last chapter if they were a couple, or if they were dating or married or whatever. I think this will be somewhat of an answer for them. This opening.
Yeah, it's one of those. I wonder if that question comes from they understand sort of part of the relationship, or if they're like an actual item. I'm not sure if the question is actually, are they together, or is like sometimes they hook up or something.
Yeah, it is. I think this and the next chapter as well will do a lot to help clarify that relationship. So every episode of each series I work on, there tends to be just one effect that I end up using a lot more than everything else, because just the context of the episode or something requires it. The last episode I worked on for Rage Quit, with all the light and shadows of the bunker, I was using a lot of levels and masks. This chapter, though, it was this effect called wave warp, which is very literal. It is literally just one that warps waves, and during this opening segment when they're on the water, every single shot basically that had water in it, I was having to use it, and it came out I think really well.
Yeah.
Play it again.
Yeah, if we go back, you can see it on the basically the any edges of water, you'll be able to see it on. Yeah, like right there at the bottom. That's just a wave warp.
Oh, I swear, whatever was in that mushroom soup.
I've woken up to us.
The pauses.
Her stuff is gone.
My bag is gone.
Tried looking under the bed. Really, Gerla?
I love how she just jumped in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she could swim.
It's one of my favorite jokes.
Oh.
It's the long silence.
All right.
And this one, like the shot of him with the submarine in front and sort of the sun glare to cover, is probably one of my favorite visual gags. But it's like one of those, and you'll see this for the rest of the episode, but when I started writing this chapter, I was thinking of like, how can I make this an interesting start of the chapter? And typically when you're writing a story, you're tempted to sort of continue exactly where you left off. That's sort of your instinct goes there first. And I had a few certain motivators that could make me push this in a different direction. And then I sort of figured, just funny if they woke up in the sea, like nothing on them, with no explanation, and having that sort of be the basis. What I didn't realize that time was how much convenient censoring I would do throughout the chapter, because I wanted to keep it not PG, but like at least off the moderation team sense radars.
Yeah, because it's not an explicit series.
No. But yeah, even then, like I had to go back and change some things after a while. But
that was definitely like a minor challenge I had with that shot, because the convenient censoring on Bern there is a glare coming from the ship. But when I was animating it, there's no ship at the beginning of that shot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, how am I doing this glare? So I ended up just sort of having it it's still coming from the sky off screen, and then when the ship rises, it sort of moves and starts glinting off the ship. But I sat there for a second trying to think of solutions.
Rude.
I love this transition, by the way.
Oh yeah, I had fun with that. There was, I was debating between that and having, I won't say typical since there's only been one other episode, but the title card last time and having water sort of rise onto like flood the screen and float the title off, but that got more complicated than I wish, so I had to abandon it. I think that was one of my favorite sections to animate. You've all been underwater too long. I'm gonna go back, just do it again, just cause of the ship and basically like getting to animate Gerla around it, like how she would be physically pulled by the water and everything.
Yeah.
I think it came out really nice.
I have to say, it was also one of the most fun sequences to draw in the chapter as well. Like conveying that motion of the ship coming up and she sort of going down and sort of positioning her to be correctly with the windows and everything. Like, that's one of those fun things about making layouts, I think, in general, is this like puzzle you're trying to solve of like all the pieces being where they need to be.
I like the audio choice you used for that scene too.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. Like, really get that underwater effect.
Yeah, the underwater effects are a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun effects this chapter, I think, particularly when we get towards the end with Jellyjack.
You've all been underwater too long. Get a whiff of that sweet surface air and maybe you'll clear out that superstitious nonsense of yours.
It's all real, I tell ya.
I love this little subplot here.
It's so good.
It's all made up. Just because the captain believes him doesn't mean you have to.
Hey, yeah, he's a bit... Come on, Percy. He's probably right.
Percy?
Anyone gonna tell me why I'm not dead yet?
We reeled in a big...
I actually really like what you did there with the voices.
Difference being...
Oh yeah, with Radar's line.
Yeah, just having it sort of come in beforehand to sort of tie the two scenes together. I've seen it in like movies, like when you're sort of trying to stitch scenes together. So obviously it would work here as well. But since you have the text bubbles there, I can imagine it being easy to anchor yourself to like, oh, the text has to happen in this order.
Yeah, like you have to follow the order it comes in.
Yeah, but giving yourself the flexibility to present the dialogue in like a little bit sooner than when it appears, I think works really well to tie it all together.
Yeah, it's also something that just pacing wise, this is something I've struggled with a little bit between comic and video, where in a comic you'll see all the time there will be several speech bubbles that appear, and when you read through it, it's fine because you're basically following these multiple threads at the same time. So people can say something that's important and then they say something under their breath that you read and as like a little aside basically, and then the conversation continues from that main point they said before that. It was a bit more difficult because for this scene, I'm so glad you mentioned it. I did originally have Radar speaking after, but then it was a bit off because Bern continues the conversation talking about what Nabby said when Nabby said her line, and then there was about like 5 seconds where Bern didn't respond and was waiting for Radar to speak. And so I experimented with having him talk over Radar and everything, but the pacing of it seemed better when Radar spoke up first.
Oh yeah, no.
We're pirates, love, not raiders.
Difference being...
Means we have plans. A way to fatten that bounty tenfold.
Can it shoot? You too.
I'm curious if you want to pause it real quick.
Yeah.
Most of the pirate voice, or I'd say half of the pirate voice actors are voice actors we've worked with before.
Oh yeah,
and have shown up in prior like dubs that we've done. I'm curious if people can tell who's who.
Yeah, do we want to?
Or if we want to talk about them.
Do we talk about it?
We can.
Yeah, I would say like if you guys have watched other bits of our content, try and guess who's who. But we'll go ahead and reveal that. So yeah, we've got Nabby in the front, who's the feline pirate in pink. She is Ariane Fandub, who voices Violet in Very Dense Man. We haven't had her appear for quite a while, but she's fun. And we reached out to her because we really wanted... We had the specific idea of we want the visual pun of basically having her, like, having Nabby roll her R's in a way that had, like, sort of like a purr sound to it, like a cat. And that was very difficult to get, but Ariane managed to do it in a way that I really liked.
Yeah, no, I think it turned out really nice. And it was not the voice I sort of expected, but it was definitely, like, when I heard it, it was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And then we've also got Allie, who is the large blue reptilian in the back. She's voiced by Angelica Lauren, who is also a Very Dense Man voice actor. She voices Celeste and is also part of the girl pack in Rage Quit. And doesn't she also voice someone in Janitor's Log?
No, you're thinking of Pin, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Penumbra.
But speaking of Janitor's Log, yeah, Shoot, that little cat guy on the far right, is voiced by Logan, who voices Jano at Janitor's Log. So it's a very different voice between those two, but he's the voice actor for both of them.
Yeah.
And he's great. I love working with him.
And then from the scene prior, the bird pirate, Mermacaw, is voiced by Colby Mazur. Not the Colby here. Colby Mazur voices Kai in Rage Quit.
Yeah, and I think everyone else is new that we haven't worked with before, but now officially part of the Heimhaus family.
Yeah. And then I will say these two other background pirates have no voice at all.
Yeah.
They're here silently the whole time.
It's I kind of like, especially the pirate on the right. I think I kind of like his design, but they are definitely sort of fodder pirates.
Yeah, they're just there to fill the scene.
Yeah.
Being
means we have plans. A way to fatten that bounty tenfold.
Can it shoot? You too, Nabby. How many times must I tell you? Never spill.
I want to talk
Some
about
really
that
good
shot.
music for him.
It's great music. I also have to talk about this shot because this is one of the fun differences again between comics and video, is that video has a very set aspect ratio unless you're doing more experimental footage. It's almost always going to be 16:9. Comics are not like that. Comics are on a vertical page, and if you're doing, depending on your paneling, you will have very tall panels. Lars, you actually have great paneling for video for my aspect ratio, because a lot of times you do go very traditional, like with your horizontal panels, and they just fit really nicely into the space. This was one of those shots that was very different because of how tall it was. And so when I scaled it up to fit into the space, I was like, oh my god, this will never fit. And then I realized, oh, that's actually perfect. Because if I have to do this really, really long, like, pan up to get all of him, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh my god, he feels ginormous now. He feels so insanely huge, which is perfect for him.
This is one of those tricky things with comics in general, or especially when you have, so the proportions of characters that I have in the comic is sort of touching on the sort of One Piece logic of character proportions, where characters can be very different in size, and there's a natural consequence of that, in that you have to figure out how to compose everything in a way that you can, like, you need to fit all of those elements in there, all the characters. So when you have a huge character and you have a lot of other characters as well, like, how do you fit those in there? And sometimes the solution is just you break the frame, or you make the frame taller and you fit them in that way. And one of my favorite things to do for big characters or tall characters is, like, one thing is like making the frame taller, or the panel taller, but having them break the frame and stuff like that as well is kind of fun.
And we have to talk about Dante himself, the voice actor of Leviakhan. Shout out him, because the voice of Leviakhan was very difficult to do. And the range that he has to do it is crazy, because his normal voice and his Leviakhan voice are so different.
Yeah. For Leviakhan, it was very obvious looking at him, like, okay, we need this is a very Hulk character. We need someone with a really deep voice, a super rough voice. And there were a lot of really good candidates. It was just there was like a minor issue where you could tell like a lot of people were going as deep and as rough as they could, and it sounded forced. Like you could hear sort of the stress in their voice. Dante does it really effortlessly. I mean, I really thought until we got on a call with him that it was at least close to his natural voice, but no, he has a very normal voice and then can just really carry it down that deep. It's great.
Yeah, no, his voice is great.
Never spill our secrets, not even to the dead.
Do you think she took him?
Stop that!
But this is exactly what the captain's been talking about. Getting pulled beneath the waves by that thing.
Boy barely had his sea legs. The only thing supernatural about this was his stupidity.
This was a fun shot too.
Let's just report this and get back
Yeah,
to the
I was worried like how you were going to solve that, because again, a trait of the comic medium is that you can have the character appear in a panel multiple times to show that they're moving around. And yeah, normally in movies they don't stay in a place or on the screens in multiple places.
Yeah, that was a fun one to think of. And then I realized like a lot of these files, the comic file sizes are ginormous. I don't edit at that original size because it really sort of tanks the system. I mean, it becomes really laggy. But in cases like this, where I can do something cool and unique, where I go in and I can sort of isolate one Gerla at a time by circling around the scene, I can do that by just working with the file at its full size, and I can zoom in to a really high degree, and it worked out great. What's funny is I had to cheat a little bit, obviously, where Gerla appears here on the left when she's caught up in the ropes. But the original clip, she's gone there, so I had to mask that element out. So when it starts, she's not there, and then she appears later.
Barely had his sea legs. The only thing supernatural about this was his stupidity. Let's just report this and get back to the food, yeah?
Yeah.
I really like Gerla chapter, just her gremlin aspects coming out in full swing.
Yeah.
Vixen of the sea.
Stop.
The little music box touch there is some.
The music box is really good. I was gonna say on Gerla, yeah, this chapter was really fun. Out of everyone, she did have the most stuff in the script to record, but she also, this whole scene doesn't talk. What we had to record with her were mostly efforts, which is a term for basically when a voice actor is just making noise, like the sound of like when they're exerting themselves or doing a specific thing. And it came out great. Vin is such a great voice actor. They do such an amazing job.
Luring men to their domain. And then eating the flesh of their bones.
Sirens are not real!
I really like the audio work in this section.
Luck's on our side today. Get us home before sundown, and first round's on me.
Speaking of Leviakhan's thought, this thought crossed my head earlier while I was looking at this. That door must be ginormous. That door must be so large.
I was struggling with this in the comic. Like, I had to make sure that the door was big enough for him to go through.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how much I wanted to pay attention to other people being able to use the door. And
because I was thinking for everyone else, I mean, they have to be reaching over their head to open it.
Yeah. Now, I didn't show it, but I think But I planned originally to show the door from the inside, and there was like a little stool there that people stood on and stuff like that. But I think the angle of the shot that I ended up going for just didn't show any of that area. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Allie, show our guest to his quarters.
Aye, aye, Captain. Don't try anything funny.
I love the animation there.
Yeah, I think that screaming sequence was my favorite bit.
Looks like we'll have time to
The music's cutting out.
No, I love that sequence with the action.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Leviakhan, always a pleasure doing business with you.
There's so many.
I see.
By the way, I just want to pause it here. There's so many fun details about your world building that I just love, and I don't really take in until I'm editing it, and then I have to stare at all the art for so long. Like how here in this town, which is underwater, all the street lamps and the lights inside Jellyjack's Emporium are just aquariums with anglerfish in them.
Yep.
Which is so creative and so just amazing and funny, which I didn't even notice. I think like same last chapter, I didn't notice, Mosswin, the town they ended last chapter in, literally all the roofs are just moss. They're just green roofs.
The joke that I went with there is obviously that the moss won, so that's why it's called Mosswin.
Oh, that's funny.
Although Win, or I think it's Swin, is like a typical suffix for a place name. So there's like a lot of different things like that. There's also the starting town in chapter 1. It doesn't appear in the comic directly, but I do show a map at some point, and that place is called Bratwick, and Brat it's just because that's where Nugget is, the baby, and he's a little brat. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Although there are some interesting artifacts of my choice of suffixes again, like Wick. So Bratwick. Wick is actually coming from Old Norse, which is a word called we also have in Norwegian, which is Vik. And that's just like a small little, like the water sort of going inland a little bit. But if you look at the map, there's obviously nothing like that. And then that might be an artifact from when the worlds collided in the past, as is teased in the prologue.
I'm gonna plug your Discord here real quick, but I was looking at the map that you posted the other day there, and just all the names of everything and where it's all located. And I thought it was really neat. So if y'all want to see a map, perchance, check out the Discord.
Yeah, of the entire Bounties world.
Yeah, it is a work in progress, that map. As I figure out the names of locations, I'm sort of taking my time with the map. I think a map is important, so I have to have all the bits in the right place. But yeah.
Yeah, I love map making.
It's fun.
You brought me yet another trade opportunity.
You need to work on your distractions.
A little callback to chapter 1 there.
You know what? They call me a big fish.
Compared to the trash pirates are known to nab, sure, you're a catch.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Hey, you worry too much about your bounty. You got nothing to prove. At least not to me. Oh yeah, why are we alive?
I'll have your sea rocks transferred as soon as possible.
And I think the last character we have to talk about this chapter is Jellyjack, who, out of everyone, I think was the most challenging to land on what we wanted for the voice. Because if you look at him, I think everyone will imagine something slightly different, because he is such a bizarre fantasy creature.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the stranger characters that come up in terms of concept. It's a bit out there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, because I mean the design is great, and so trying to find a voice that suits it and sounds like fantastical enough but normal enough to obviously still be understood and sound intelligent and civilized. What we ended up on is that we had a lot of entries that we got from people that were a lot more sort of creative and pushed the voice in a much more absurd direction. We ended up going with something a lot more tamer and then adding more effects on top of it. I ended up trying to push this idea that if he's speaking, I don't know what you'd call his head. It's almost like, like that skull within his blob body. I was imagining like that his blob head was almost sort of watery, and so when he speaks, he's pushing air bubbles out of it that would bubble up, and so when he speaks, it is a bit more muffled, like he's talking through water, and then has that sort of bubbling on top of it.
I'm not following.
You know you're being scammed, right?
Nonsense. I assure you that sea rocks is a fully legitimate currency in,
They're only stalling for time, knowing that their death is imminent. You know I trust you. Jellyjack and I go
This is my favorite line from him.
Of every last one of his new
Just a little,
so
fuse sound is amazing.
Do it all over again, and then
and the you would as well.
Just saying, sea rocks aren't worth what you think it's worth.
Oh no, I love this whole scene.
2 million is a larger number, unless I should be getting more. Are you trying to keep me out of this efficient amount of sea rock?
I'll give you 4 million. No,
or I'll rip your new
millions.
There you are. Sorry about before. Now, why don't we get out of here?
Yeah, before we get to this last level segment, this yelling between Jellyjack and Leviakhan was fantastic. It was so great and so awesome to get.
No, that one, obviously the line there is very long. Like the bubble has a lot of text in it. I'm glad you did it the way that you did, like how you sort of moved. I think you moved some of it over to the next one as well, like when they're in the background.
Yeah.
That's sort of kind of what I wanted. Yeah, I think it turned out really nice. It's perfect. And the music, top tier choice.
Oh yeah, the music is great. What's funny is originally I didn't know if I was going to have it trail into the next panel or not. So we also did have, which unfortunately we didn't use, we had both Dante and Colin record we wrote a small extension to their argument that had just more from Leviakhan and more of Dante defending himself that just continued after that, which we didn't get to throw into the background, but that was very funny to hear.
There you are. Sorry about before. Now, why don't we get out of here?
I wonder what we'll end up this time.
I always love when there's some new kind of magic that Lars introduces that I have to figure out how I want it to look and sound.
Yeah, next chapter is going to be maybe not. Maybe it's not next chapter, but the chapter after. There's going to be a lot of interesting magic for you to play around with.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that's all we got this episode.
Yeah, I like how it turned out.
Yeah, it came out really nice, guys. Good job.
Thank you. And I mean, it's part of why it came out so good is just because we're adapting, an amazing story with amazing art.
And shout out all the voice actors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shout out. We had so many amazing voices this time around because we've just got such a nice big colorful cast. So I'm hoping down the line we'll eventually get to bring everyone back. So yeah, if you guys want more bounties, obviously go check out Lars's original webtoon. It's great. Chapter 6 is coming out right now, so there's tons of content to read up on. There's even more stuff over on his Patreon and his Discord. If you're interested in seeing more of our dubs, check out our channel. We've also got a Discord that Lars is in alongside with the creators of Rage Quit.
Yeah, it's a great place. I play Wordle every day there.
Daily. Yeah, we've also got daily Wordle.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, thank you guys. See you next time.
See ya.